Hello, welcome to week 1 of Introduction to Pilates for Beginners. So this week we're going to work on posture and pelvis stability. For the class you're going to need a head cushion, a mat, a Pilates ball and a TheraBand. Before we start, I just wanted to make sure, even though the class is going to be quite low impact, to make sure that you work within your own capabilities. Okay, so we're going to start in standing. With our feet together. And we're going to open our toes and then align our heels with our toes. Looking at our feet, making sure they're nice and parallel. We're going to remember our triangles. So make sure that remembering the 3 points of the triangles, the big toes, little toes and the heels. And then focus on our weight of the body under each triangle. So put our hands on our hips and we're going to lean forward to our toes and lean forward to our heels. Lean to our toes and lean to our heels. And then we're going to reduce each movement until we come to the midpoint, where we feel that the weight of our body is nice and equal under each foot or each triangle and in the middle of each triangle. Once you've found your midpoint, just make sure that your feet are nice and grounded. Just imagine you've got hobbit feet, nice and wide, ground into the floor, with your arch of each foot nicely lifted just a little bit, just enough to put a blueberry underneath. Our knees are slightly bent with a micro bend behind. And then we're going to put our hands on our hips and concentrate on our pelvis and our bucket of water. So we're starting with tilting our bucket of water to our heels, tucking the tail under, and then tipping the bucket of water to our toes, dripping the water on our toes. So the movement here is going to be quite wide first. And we're going to make sure that the upper body stays nice and soft. It's not moving, it's on a holiday somewhere on the beach. Now I want you to reduce these movements until you've come to the midpoint where your bucket of water is nice and level, the water is flat, your hands are level with one another. I'm going to relax the arms down. Have a nice roll down of the backwards of the shoulders and melting the shoulder blades towards our bottom pockets. Remembering our springs between our ribs and our hips, keeping our ribs nice and soft. And then we have our helium balloon attached to the crown of our head, pulling us up towards the ceiling, making us nice and tall, and our peach underneath that chin, lengthening the back of our neck. We're going to start with bringing our arms to the front. You're going to take a breath in to prepare, and as you breathe out, you're going to engage the lower tummy muscles and come up with the arm and around. Breathe in and out and around. So here I want you to focus on your ribs as you lift your arm up, making sure your rib stays nice and soft. When mobilizing the shoulders, we come round. Breathing out and in to come back up. And again. One more on each side. Keeping our shoulders nice and relaxed and away from our ears. And then relaxing the arms down. Now we're going to bend our elbows to our waist. Imagining that we've got tennis balls stuck between our waist and our elbows. We're going to take a breath in to prepare. Breathing out, going to open to the side. Breathing in, return. Breathing out, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Breathing in, return. Open the collarbone here as we open. And breathe in, return. Two more. Last one. We're going to step open here and lengthen the arm away. Palms down, palms up, fall back to the waist and bring back to the center. Breathe in to prepare. Breathing out, open, lengthen away. Palms down, palms up, back to the center and fall back in. Breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, open and lengthen. Breathing in, palms down. Breathing out, palms up and fall back in and return. Breathing in, breathing out. Remembering our helium balloon, making ourselves nice and tall. Our shoulders away up from our ears. Last one. This time we're going to come back up and open. Lengthen. Palms down. We're going to stay here, imagining that we're stuck in a cement up to the hips. So the hips are going to stay forward. And as you breathe, you're going to take a breath in to prepare. And as you breathe out, you're going to twist the side, following with your arms and your head, keeping the hips forward. Breathe in, breathing out, return. Breathe in, breathing out. Twisting to the side, keeping your hips forward. Breathe in and return. So here it helps as you twist around to push the hip where you on the side that you're twisting around forward. That will help you keep your hips to facing forward. Last one on each side. Folding back in. Relaxing the arms to the side. We're going to do some mermaid stretch now. So we're going to take our arms up towards the ceiling, looking up. We're going to bend down like a banana, look down and stretch the arm up towards the ceiling. Breathe it in and we're going to breathe it out to return. Breathe in to prepare, breathe it out, lift up. Breathe in into the stretch and breathe it out, return. Breathing up, breathing out. Bend down like a banana, breathe in into the stretch. And breathing out, return. And back. So here, just imagine you are stuck between two pieces of paper. And as you come bend down like a banana, just imagine you sliding between those papers. Last one. Excellent. So now we're going to challenge our pelvis stability a little bit more in standing. So I'm going to put myself on the side so you can see what we're doing. So now I'm going to ask you to put your hands on your hips. So all our key elements in place. We still have our bucket of water nice and in neutral, keeping our head nice and long with our helium balloon. We're going to take a breath in to prepare. As we breathe out, we're going to engage our lower tummy muscles. Shift the weight on one leg, making sure that the weight of that body is in the middle of that foot, and bending the knee on the standing leg. We're going to step forward, lift the heel at the back legs, and then step back. Take a breath in to prepare. Breathing out, step forward, and step back. So basically we're mimicking the walking pattern. Take a breath in, breathing out. What here I want you to focus on is your hips. So as you lift the foot off of the floor and stepping forward, I want to make sure that your hip stays nice and level. So with your hands, just notice whether your hands are moving up and down as you step forward, which they shouldn't do. As you step forward and back, your hands should stay nice and level, and you should come back to hip width apart with your feet parallel. So check on your feet too as you're moving out and back in. Just also notice whether your pelvis has come off neutral, because sometimes as we're walking, we can arch our back or tilt forward. So basically, as you step in and out, just notice what your body is doing and trying to rectify it. Notice if you've lost your core engagement. Last one on each side. Excellent. So I'm going to put myself back to the front. This time we're going to move to challenge our balance as well as our pelvic stability. So we're going to go onto one leg, standing on one leg. So feet hip width apart, all our key elements in place. We're going to take a breath in to prepare. And as you breathe out, you're going to shift our body weight to one leg. And we're going to come up the tiptoes on the other. Then we're going to hover the foot. And then if you feel that comfortable, you're going to lift the leg up. And then we're going to return the leg down. Take a breath in to prepare. Shift the weight on the other leg. Come up to your tiptoes. Hover the foot. Bring the leg up if you feel that it's comfortable. And return. So here I want you to focus on your pelvis. Taking it, noticing whether as you come up to your tiptoe, hover and lifting up, whether your pelvis has collapsed or is uneven. Basically your hands and your hips should be nice and even as you lift your leg up. So this is the movement we do as we walk up the stairs. So when we walk up the stairs, we tend to come on our tiptoe, hover and lift the leg up. And when we walk up the stairs, we really want to keep those pelvis and those hips nice and level. So we're working that one bottom muscle here. They're the one that hold our pelvis and our hips together. So we're strengthening them here as well. making sure also we keep a nice little micro bend on the standing knee and we don't lock the leg up. Ooh. So choosing the level that's more suitable. If you feel that you can only balance with a hover, just stay there. If you feel that you are comfortable with lifting the leg higher, please do so. Just work within your limits. Last one. Excellent. And relax your arms down. We're going to challenge our balance a little bit more. Still in that standing position. Put our hands back on our hips. All key elements in place. I'm going to take a breath in and prepare. Breathing out, we're going to come up to our toes, lifting up. And then breathe in, return. So here, I want you to imagine that you are in a straw. You've been sucked up that straw. So you come up only as high as you can control your balance, as you can control the balance and the wobble of your ankle. Here I'm doing so, we work on our balance. We're also working on the strengthening of our ankles. Breathing out as we come up, breathing in to lower. Other thing that we need to focus on as well is as we come up on our toes, we want to make sure those toes are nice and relaxed. No gripping of the toes. These toes are nice and spread out. Relax as we go up and down. We do one more. We're going to stay up. And then we're going to lower one heel and bend one knee. Coming back up. And again, we're going to come to our walking. And here we really want to focus on our hips, making sure that as we go up and down, our hand stays nice and level. So we're mimicking the walking movement. Excellent. We're going to make it a little bit more challenging. We're going to lower our heels. We're going to bring our arms to the front. Come up to our toes. We're going to lower one arm and bend one knee. So opposite arm to opposite knee. And then we're going to come back up and do the opposite. Oh, see, got it wrong. So we're working our coordination. It's the same as our balance. So here the same. We want to make sure that our hip stays nice and level as we go up and down. Making sure that our toes stays nice and relaxed. Shoulders nice and relaxed. They're still on a holiday on a beach. And our hips are level, not bobbing up and down. So here we are challenged a little bit more because we have our arms in front as well. And the movements are nice and slow and controlled to start with. We'll speed them up once we're a bit more used to those movements. Today we are going to focus on control of the movement and quality of the movement. One more on each side. And I've lowered the arm and the heel. Perfect. So we're going to work our bottom legs now, or the lower part of our body. I'm going to put myself to the side so you can see what I want you to do. So feet hip width apart, hands on hips. So I want you to imagine you've got a chair behind you. You're going to shoot your bottom backwards as if you wanted to sit on the chair and shift your body weight onto the heels, creating a diagonal line. So you're squatting down basically. So imagine that you've got an arrow coming out of your bottom towards the floor, so you're tucking your tail under, and an arrow coming out of your top of your head, shooting towards the ceiling. You can squeeze your bottom to come back up. Breathing in to prepare, breathing out. Squat down. Breathing in, return. Breathing out. So here I want you to notice your knees. So your knees should be going towards your second toe and stay parallel. The weight of your body is on the heels, and you're pushing on those heels to come back up. Squeezing the bottom as you do so as well. I'm going to add some arm movements as you squat down and bring the arms down, up, and return. Two more. Last one. Excellent. Well done. Give your legs a bit of a shake. And then we're going to go to our roll down. I'm going to stay on the side here so you can see how to do it. So I want you to imagine that the whole of your body is stuck to the wall on Velcro. So we're going to start with all our key elements in place. And take a breath in to prepare. And breathing out, engaging our lower tummy muscles. We're going to tuck our chin to our chest. We're going to roll our shoulders forward. And then peel off the Velcro one breath at a time, the spine. Starting with the upper spine, middle spine, and bottom spine. And then we're going to fold the hips and the bottom forward. And then lower ourselves down only as far as we can able to. And take a breath in at the bottom. Breathing out. Restacking the bottom and the hips. And then the spine one bone at a time. Shoulders down. Head and neck. Breath in at the top. Breathing out. Chin to chest. Shoulders forward. Spine forward. One bone at a time. Really picturing that Velcro. We're going as far down as we can. We are able to. Breathing in at the top. Breathing out. Tucking that tail under. Restacking. One bone at a time. Last one. Breath in. Breath out. And coming down. Mobilizing that spine little by little. Breathing in. Breathing out. Stacking back up. And back. Now we take a breath in again. And as we come back down, we're going to lower ourselves down to the mat. So you take a breath in to prepare. Breathing out, chin to chest, shoulders forward, and rolling the spine forward. Going down as far as we can. Bending the knees down, putting our hands on the floor. Bending our knees, lowering ourselves down to the mat. And we're going to lower ourselves down onto the mat into our rest position. So here we're going to set our centers in the rest position. So we're going to start with our feet and knees together. Our arms are nice and relaxed either side of us. So we're going to open our toes, open our heels. So we have hip width apart. Our knees and feet are parallel on a train track. We're going to put our hands into our diamond shape and put our thumbs into our belly button, fingertips onto our pubic bone. Rest the hands on our hip bones. Here we're going to do some pelvic tilts. So we're remembering our Maltese in the middle of the diamond. We're going to roll the Malteser towards our belly button and roll the Malteser towards the front of the pubic bone. Roll the Malteser down and in front of the pubic bone. So it's big movements to start with. And now we're going to reduce those movements, small, little at a time, until we come to our pelvic neutral, where the Malteser is in the middle of the diamond. Your pelvic bone is nice and level, your pelvis. You could put a tray of drink across your pelvis and the drinks wouldn't slide off. And you should have a little gap underneath your lower back, just big enough for a little blueberry. We're remembering our springs, so between our ribs and our hips, so the length is the same and our ribs are nice and soft. We've got a pitch under our chin, lengthening the back of our neck, and then still a big cord pulling us up towards the opposite wall, making us nice and long. So we're going to start with some shoulder movement. So we're going to bring our arms up above our shoulders. You're going to take a breath in here to prepare, and as you breathe out, you're going to engage your lower tummy muscles, whether you use the abdominals with your lowest lung belts and tightening that belt a couple of inches, or whether you use your pelvic floor muscles, use the ones that works for you. Pelvic floor muscles as you're squeezing your front and your back passage up towards your heart, stopping you from having a wee or a wind. So you take a breath in to prepare, breathing out, engage, and as you breathe out, you're going to lift your arms up towards the ceiling. So imagine you're holding a big beach balloon and you're moving that balloon towards the ceiling. And then breathing in, you're going to return the balloon down. Breathe in, breathe out. Reaching that balloon up towards the ceiling. And then breathing in, reaching down. So as you reach up towards the ceiling, your shoulder blades are coming up and around your back. And as you're coming down, your shoulder blades are coming back down to the mat. So here we're trying to keep that engagement as well as you breathe in and out. So working on your inner core engagement. As you breathe in, out and engage. As you breathe in to return, keep that lower tummy engagement as long as you can. You do one more. You're going to leave the arms here. We're going to lower one arm behind and one arm in front. Breathing out. Breathing in, return to the middle and the other way. So as little arm scissors. Here I want you to focus on your ribs. So I want you to lower the arm behind you only as far as you can keep your ribs nice and soft. So you're remembering your springs between your ribs and your hips. Those springs as you lower your arm behind needs to stay the same length and tension. Trying to keep our arms straight. And trying to keep that engagement of our core muscles as we move the arms up and down. So working on the endurance of those muscles as well. Last one. Returning the arms in front. And now we're going to make it a bit harder for our ribs. And we're going to lower both arms behind. So you're going to take a breath in to prepare, breathing out to engage, and then lower the arm behind yourself up to your ears. Breathing in, drawing a little small semicircle back to the center. Breathe in, breathing out, lower. Breathing in, semicircle, back in. So only lower the arms down behind you as far as you can keep your ribs nice and soft. So remembering your springs, they need to stay the same length as you lower your arms down. But also focus on your pelvis. What is your pelvis doing? Is it still in its neutral position, or has it shifted and your lower back is now squashed onto the mat? We want to make sure the pelvis stays in our neutral spine as we move our arm up and behind. Last one. We'll lower the arms back down. Now we're going to challenge our inner core muscles a little bit more. So we're going to keep our upper body nice and relaxed and make sure that our shoulders are nice and on holiday, back on the beach, relaxing. We take a breath in to prepare. As you breathe out, you're going to hover the arms off of the floor. And imagine that you've got puddles underneath your fingertips. You've engaged your lower tummy muscles. And as you breathe in, you're going to tap your fingertips 5 times. And breathing out, tap your fingertips 5 times. Keeping the core engagement. So that's called our 100 level 1. So here, choose the engagement that the core muscles that feels or works better for you. Whether you're using your lower abdominals, remembering our lower slung belt, that you tighten up a couple of notches, or whether it's your pelvic floor muscles that you've tightened up, say that you want to stop having a wee and a wince, tighten up your back passage and your front passage as you breathe in and out, keeping those inner core muscles engaged, working on their endurance. Here, retraining those inner muscles to work whilst moving. 2 more rounds. Last one. And then lower your arms down. Relax. And now we're going to come up to our one leg stretch, level 1. And we're going to challenge our pelvic stability a little bit more. So upper body is nice and relaxed, arms are relaxed either side of us. Here we're going to take a breath in to prepare. Breathing out. You're going to imagine you've got your feet is on the sand. You're going to draw a line onto the sand with your foot, lengthening the leg away. You're going to breathe in and return. Breathing out, draw a line onto the sand. And breathe in, return. So here I want you to focus on your pelvis. I want you to notice what your pelvis is doing as you lengthen away. Making sure that your pelvis stays in neutral, that it hasn't tipped forward or back. as you lengthen. Breathing in to return back to hip width apart. One more on each side. Making sure the ribs are nice and soft. Last one. Excellent. And now we're going to move up to our hip twists level 1. So here we're going to challenge the pelvic stability in a different way. So we're going to take a breath in to prepare. Breathing out, engage our inner core muscles. And you're going to at the same time fold or drop the knee to the side. And return. Breathing out, drop the knee to the side. Breathing in, return. So here we're looking into our pelvic stability, making sure the pelvis stays in neutral and doesn't dip side to side as we open the knee to the side. We're also mobilizing the hip joint. So as we open to the side, the hip joint is moving to the side into his hip socket. I also want you to focus on the standing knees. As you drop the knee to the side, that standing leg needs to stay nice and still. Just remember or imagine that you've got a nice favorite drink on your top of your knee and you don't want it to slide off. Same with your pelvis on your tray of drinks. It's all your favorite drinks. And as you open to the side, you don't want that tray to slide or the drinks to slide off the tray. So that those hips need to stay nice and level. You will find that you'll probably open the hips or the knee back only as far as you can keep those hips level. One side will probably be a bit harder than the other. If you're having trouble and you find that the standing knee is moving too much and it's not playing ball, grab a TheraBand and wrap the TheraBand around the front of the knee. Hold it with the same hand and then drop the other knee to the side. The tension with the TheraBand will hold the standing knee where it is, and thus making the control of the movement better. If you're hypermobile and you find that you're opening the legs far too much and you find you want a little bit more resistance, you can put the TheraBands around your thighs, holding it or making a knot easier. That will give them a little bit more resistance. And then you can open, and that will add resistance to the movement and make your muscles work harder. Do one more on each side. Last one. Okay, now we're going to move to our scissors. So we're going to up the challenge because this time we're going to lift the foot off of the floor. So all our key elements in place. Nice and relaxed with the upper body and the arms. You take a breath in to prepare. Breathing out, we're going to engage and lift the foot off of the floor to single tabletop. Breathe in to hold and breathing out, lower. Breathe in, breathing out, engage and lift. Breathe in to hold and breathe in lower. So here as you bring up the leg up I want you to make sure that your knee stays in line with your hips and that your knee and your thighs are in the 90 degrees. So you shouldn't see your foot at all as you lift your leg up. Your foot is in line with your knee and your knee is in line with your hip. As you lower the leg down, you want to make sure that that movement comes from the hip. So it's a hinge movement. You like Barbie, you can't bend your knee. So your knee is in that 90-degree angle. And then once you lower the leg, you're only lowering the leg from the hip. Breathing out, breathing into hold, breathing out, lower. So here we're also working our abdominals a little bit more because we're lifting the leg up. So we're adding a bit of a load onto our abdominals, as well as working our pelvis stability. So as you lift up your leg, you want to make sure that your pelvis stays nice and in neutral. You want to make sure you don't squash the blueberry, so you don't tip your pelvis forward as you come back down. So that's our scissors level 1. We're going to do one more on each side. And then we're going to move on to our shoulder bridge. So for our shoulder bridge, we don't need a head cushion. We're going to move the head cushion away and bring our feet closer to our bottom. We're going to grab our Pilates ball and squeeze it between our knees. We're going to start with some pelvic tilts first. So all our key elements in place. Take a breath in to prepare. Breathing out, we're going to squeeze this ball and squash the blueberry. Tilting our pelvis back and then return as we breathe in. Breathe in, breathing out. Squeeze and squash. Breathe in, return. Last one. Breathe in, breathe out, squeeze and squash. So now we're going to go up to our shoulder bridge. The shoulder bridge is here to mobilize the spine. So we're going to take a breath in to prepare. Breathing in, breathing out, squeeze the ball, squash the blueberry. You're going to squeeze your bottom muscles, lift the bottom off of the mat, and lift the spine off of the mat, up to your shoulder blade. Take a breath in at the top. Breathing out, you're going to return the spine one bone at a time. And again, breath in to prepare. Breathing out, squeeze, squash, lift. We want to lift the spine one bone at a time, concentrating on each bone. As we come down the same, we concentrate on each part of the spine. Slowing down where we find it a bit tricky, or when it's starting or it's a little bit sticky. Keeping that bottom nice and tight and squeezed up as we come up to the shoulder bridge. Imagine you've got a 50-pound nose in between your bum cheeks, and as you come up, you're squeezing that 50-pound nose up, making sure you don't drop it, and down. Gonna do one more. Well done. I'm going to drop the ball. Move your feet away a little bit. We're going to do our cool down. Grab our head cushion, put it underneath our head. Yeah. Put our feet and knees together. We're going to bring our arms like across either side of us, or like an aeroplane. Take a breath in to prepare, and breathing out, you're going to lower the knees to one side and roll the head to the other. Breathe into the stretch. Breathing out. Return to the center. Breathe in. Breathing out. Lower to the other side. Breathe into the stretch. And breathe out. Come back to the center. And again. Breathe in. And back into the center. Last one. You're going to bring the arms back next to you. Open your knees and back to hip width apart. You're going to lift the ankle and put it on top of the opposite knee. Lift the foot off of the floor. Bring the knee towards your chest. Put your hands behind your thigh. Here we're going to do a figure of four and stretch our bottom muscles. You can use our elbow also to push on the knee. Taking a couple of breaths here into the stretch. And I'm going to lower down and do the other side. Ankle to knee. Lift the foot up. Bring the knee to the chest. Oh, sorry, I'm a bit stiff today. Using an elbow to open that knee. And lower down. We're going to roll ourselves onto the side, nice and gently, and push ourselves up. Coming to your hands and knees, knees in line with our hips, feet relaxed, hands shoulder width apart underneath our shoulders. We're going to do our thread the needle. So we're going to thread up the hand underneath our arm, lengthen as far as we can. When we can't lengthen anymore, we're going to lower our shoulders down. Take a breath in, and then breathing out, pushing on our hand, coming back up. And I'm going to open the arm, opening the chest to the ceiling, and come back to the middle. Breathe in, breathing out. Thread the needle, lower. Breathing into the stretch. And coming back, opening the chest to the ceiling. One more on each side. Thread the needle. Breathing out. Breathing in. And out. Back up. And opening up. And again. Thread the needle. One. And back up. And back to the mat. And we're going to do our cat and cow stretch. So hands either shoulder width apart. We're going to tuck our tail under, round the back up towards the ceiling, and tuck our head in. Breathe in. Tuck our tail up. Tummy to the mat. Head up. Tail in. Rounding up. Head in. Tail up. Tummy to the floor. Head up. Last one. Tail in. Rounding up. Head in. And then back to neutral. We're going to tuck our tail under. Walk our hand to our knees and sit on our heels. Stretching our feet. Take a couple of breaths here. Moving our hands in front of our knees, pushing on our fingertips, lifting the knees off of the floor, rolling the feet back onto the mat, sitting on our feet. And then going to bring our fingertips to our toes, pushing on our hands, shooting our bottom up towards the ceiling, lengthening the legs. And then you're really going to roll down to go back up. Roll the shoulders back. Coming back to the front. Feet hip width apart. I'm going to roll the shoulders back. And roll our shoulders forward. Clasp the hands behind, lengthen behind, and pull the hands away from our back. And release. Relax the arms down. I'm going to look over our shoulders. Back to the center. Look over the other shoulder. And back to the center. Look to the floor. And chin to the ceiling. Back to the center. Ear to shoulder. And we're going to stretch the opposite hand away to stretch that side of the neck. Back to the center. Stretch the other side. And stretch the other hand away. And back to the center. We're going to bring our shoulders to our ears. Shrug your shoulders. Give yourself a little wobble everywhere. And well done. You have done week 1 of the Introduction to Pilates for Beginners. Hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know how you've done. Thank you.